Hi everyone, my name's Dean. I'm the National ICT Recruitment Consultant here at Beaumont People. With me today, I have Chantel, who is one of our commercial recruitment consultants working on both temporary and contract roles. Welcome to Ask Me Anything, a 10-minute power session where we discuss current issues and relevant topics to today's recruitment landscape. If you have any questions throughout our presentation, please feel free to put them into our chat box. And at the end of the presentation, we'll be more than happy to answer them today. So, what is our topic today, Chantel?
Hi, Dean. It's so wonderful to be here with you today. Today, we are talking about conducting professional interviews online.
Chantel, what a fantastic and relevant topic in our current landscape and climate. What points will we be discussing today?
Well, Dean, I think we've been so used to working online through the COVID period and working from home. So we either have a lot of practice or we got so used to being online or we haven't had enough practice. And that makes that we might have forgotten how to give a lasting impression, especially when it comes to an interview. So I think the three topics that we should talk about today is preparation, appearance, and limiting distractions.
Perfect choices. Well, I guess, how about we start at the beginning with preparation? When we think preparation, we want to ensure that our mobile device, so our phone, our tablet, or our computer, is set up correctly for the interview. I would suggest prior to the interview, making sure that you click on the video link that you've been sent and ensure that the software downloads correctly. Following that, turn on your camera and check your background.
Dean, that is so important to do that as a check beforehand. And if you have the time prior to the interview, why not practice with a friend to make sure that everything works well on your computer? Or if you're using a mobile device, make sure that the application works properly on the mobile device as well. And while you're at it, make sure that you test your speakers, or if you're using earphones or a microphone or something like that, just make sure that that works as well. And if you're using a recruitment company like Beaumont People, why don't you ask your recruiter for any advice in the interview, just to make sure that your background or your sound or anything like that is correct before you go to a client for an interview?
That's a really great idea, Chantel. I'm always more than happy to help candidates prepare for an interview. Well, I guess next up, it's really important for us to talk about appearance.
Yes, just because it's an interview online doesn't mean that you can't have a lasting impression and you can sit in your Saturday wear. Make sure that you wear decent clothing, appropriate clothing. Make sure that if you want to wear a little bit of makeup, hairstyle, presentation, all of that is correct, and look at your background.
You're right. It's really distracting for the recruiter or the hiring manager to be interviewing a potential employee who's not professionally presented. When we say professionally presented, I guess that also brings in things like not eating during the interview. We want to treat this interview as if we're sitting face to face with the interviewer.
Oh, yes, Dean, that is so important. Remember, if you went for a face-to-face interview, you might be offered a glass of water or maybe a beverage like a coffee or a tea. So when you do an online interview, it's just nice and polite and professional not to have your lunch with you, or you can have a glass of water, have a coffee or a tea, but preferably stay away from eating during an interview online.
Well said, Chantel. It's not only unprofessional, but it can also be really distracting, which I think leads us right into one of my pet peeves, which is backgrounds and distractions. There's nothing more distracting as an interviewer to have a background that is busy, really busy, that's either really cluttered, or maybe there's a housemate walking through the background, or maybe one of the puppies jumps up on the bed and wants to have a bit of a play. It can be really distracting to the interviewer. So I hope I'm not the only one that feels this way. What are your thoughts when it comes to background, Chantel?
I think certainly a puppy might be a nice talking point, but it can be unprofessional and it can be distracting while you're trying to present yourself professional or making a lasting impression. And at the same time, while you're looking at looking at the background, this comes back to preparation. Block out that time. Speak to your housemates, speak to your family, so that there's no distractions. Don't use the time in your lunchtime, for instance, to make lunch or hang out a bundle of washing. it is your time to make an impression. Respect your time, respect the interviewer's time. But Dean, what is your solution for a decent background? We don't all have a perfect situation in the house where we can have a perfect spot.
Well, funny enough, first of all, I've locked away my 3 puppies so they don't distract me right now. But in my household, I'm lucky enough to have a nice little nook in the corner, which is free from clutter. So as you can see, I've got a painting on the wall. It's a nice white background. And this sort of area would do really nicely. Add a little decor. However, we also understand that not everyone has this available to them. So if in doubt with your background, blur the background. Every video medium that's available in the market today has the ability to either change to a virtual background in the settings, or you can blur the background. So I will say one more time, if in doubt, blur the background.
That's an excellent idea. Fortunately, I have a lovely corner in my lounge room where I have an office set up. So it's very rarely that I feel that I need to blur the background, but not everybody has this opportunity. And if you are in an awkward situation, like you can only do an interview in your car or in a bedroom, then why not just blur it out so that you don't make it an awkward situation for anybody in the interview? Now, Dean, I think we are closing to the end of our presentation on this, and it really sounds like a list of do's and don'ts, and I don't think that's what we want to do. I think this is just friendly advice on how to do a professional interview, how to conduct yourself professionally, as well as make a lasting impression. We want this to be a pleasant experience for all the parties.
I think that's perfectly said. Thanks, Chantel. We are looking to ensure that we provide insights to make it a pleasant experience. So knowing that, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to connect with myself or with Chantel. We'd be more than happy to have a further chat with you, whether it be about your career journey next, or whether it's about interviewing online. If you're a hiring manager and you'd like some advice, please also feel free to reach out to either myself or Chantel. Or you can jump on the Beaumont People website, www.beaumontpeople.com.au, as you can see down the bottom here, and speak with any of our consultants that fit within your sector. We hope that you found something of use today. But again, like I said, feel free to reach out and connect with us. Thanks for joining Ask Me Anything. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.